Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Just Sam Podcast. My name is Mimi, and this is my fellow host, Sam.
Hi.
And today we are going to be talking about
The Heart of the Father.
the heart of the Father.
I actually had an experience yesterday, a pretty horrible one. We have two dogs. Sasha is a 3-year-old husky, and then Comet is an almost 8-year-old pain in my butt. And let me just he is a Beagle Jack Russell mix, and when he decides that he wants to go somewhere, there is no stopping
He's a
him.
typical man.
Yes, and he has been that way the whole 8 years. And you know what? I just remembered I have you to thank for that.
Yeah, you sure did.
He was a puppy from one of Mimi's Beagle's litters.
Yep.
And oh my goodness, y'all, he has caused me no small amount of stress and anxiety, and I'm sure a lot of my gray hairs come from him over the years, because we have a fenced-in backyard, and he still you cannot open the back door and let him out unattended. You can't turn your back in the backyard and not look at him, or he's going under the fence. And Sasha, my princess, my angel, I can let her outside and she will just stay right there in the backyard for hours and hours on end, never try to go nowhere. But if she's with him and he goes under the fence, she's following right behind him. And everybody knows that listens to us that we're trying to get the house ready to sell. I worked my nursing shift the night before, and I came home yesterday morning and I was going to bed, but my 19-year-old, who was also Comet's daddy, I have him to blame too. He didn't train him very well, but him and a friend of ours were going to be painting our back deck. And I told Hunter, I said, when y'all get back, because he went to pick our friend up that was going to come help paint, I said, take the dogs out and then put them back up, because they can't be out running around on the deck while you're trying to paint it. And he did that. But while he was out with them, he noticed our friend trying to move the grill off the deck alone. So he goes to go help him move the grill. And by the time he moved the grill and turned back around, the dogs were gone. And then, bless his heart, he didn't want to wake me up because he knew I worked all night. So he spent hours trying to find the dogs. And I woke up to sheer chaos. Like, they've gotten out before. We live in a neighborhood. We're not on a busy road. They get out. We search for 45 minutes or so. A neighbor texts us, hey, they're over here. We get that. That has been the story.
Habitual offenders.
Yes. All of our neighbors know us, unfortunately. But yesterday was different. Yesterday, they had been gone for several hours. No sign of them. My sister-in-law ends up seeing on a Facebook group for our area that people talking about our dogs running down the busy road that they've never went to before. And then other people start posting that they have the dogs, and I am panicking. I'm bawling my eyes out, calling animal control, calling the shelters, trying to track down leads on Facebook and things. And somehow two different people, one guy had Comet and I was able to get with him and get comment back from him. But then Sasha is still missing. And the guy that had posted in the Facebook group that he had Sasha, he was like, hey, I found this dog, holding on to her till we can find the owners, or maybe I'll have a new dog. And so I'm messaging him and he's not responding. And I'm getting more and more and more panicked. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's going to take my dog. Like, he's not going to give her back. It was, and my son, Hunter, he's very upset too, because Comet is his dog, but Sasha is mine and my oldest son's dog. We are both very, very attached to her. She is our baby. And so now Hunter is feeling very, very upset that, he's got his dog back, but Sasha's still missing, y'all. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. And I felt helpless, because I'm like, here are these people, they're talking about they have my dog. They won't answer me. I can't find her. I don't know how to get her. I don't know if I'm ever going to get her back. And, she's not my only dog.
Mm-hmm.
We had Comet back. She's not even my only pet. We have a couple of cats too. I have my children. I have my husband. None of that mattered in the moment. None of it mattered in the moment, because one of mine was missing.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know if she was safe.
Yep.
I didn't know if she was okay. I didn't know if I was going to get to hug her ever again. Like, my heart was truly devastated. And I kept thinking, while I was out running to and fro, trying to find her, tracking down every lead I could possibly track down, I kept thinking about the Father, and like the parable of the lost sheep, and Jesus talking about who that has a lost sheep would not leave the 99
To go find the one.
to go find the one,
Mm-hmm.
to go find the one that's missing.
Yeah.
And I think that we just skim over those verses and those parables and those things, and we've heard them so many times, taught so many different ways, and we don't sit with scripture the way that we should sit with it, and the way that we should really, really dig in and learn the Father's heart. And Mimi, you were saying that you just, ironically, I am learning the Father's heart through my missing baby yesterday. And you said you heard a message?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was listening to a message, and it, like I said, it was one of the best messages I had listened to in a very long time, if not ever. Like, it was just a really good message. And he was talking on, at one point was talking on the prodigal son.
Mm-hmm.
And as he was talking, I was listening, and I mean, like you just said, I've heard so many messages on the prodigal son. So, I mean, I was listening, but I wasn't, kind of thing. And then something caught my ear, and he was saying that the father didn't wait for the son to come all the way back to him begging for forgiveness. Please, please, please let me back in. The father met him.
Yeah.
Went to where he was and met him. And not only met him, covered him with his robe.
Yeah.
So this son, for everyone that knows or doesn't, this son had went out, basically spent his whole inheritance just blowing it, was wallowing with the pigs.
Yeah.
So when he came back to the Father, he was not at all the way he left. He was nasty. I'm sure he stunk.
Yeah.
Like, didn't look at all like the Father or the rest of the family. The Father took his robe off and had it placed around the Son, so that as the Son is coming back into the fold, basically,
Yeah.
all of that from the past, what the Son had done while he was gone, that's not what everybody was seeing. They were seeing the Father's robe over him.
Yeah.
And that is exactly how God is with us. He doesn't take our nasty, our whatever from the past and carry it with us. He covers us from that, and his blood covered us with that when he died for us. And it was just
Yeah.
an absolute amazing.
That's like the very first thing that God did when Adam sinned was cover him.
Yeah.
He covered them. And let me read that portion there of the prodigal and what you were talking about. That's actually the part that I highlighted and really wanted to hit on. So this is in Luke chapter 15, and it's starting in verse 20, and it says, so he got up. This is the prodigal. He's coming to his senses and like, why am I here begging when I have a father? Says, so he got up and he went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. The son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.
Yeah.
So they began to celebrate. Y'all, when my girl was gone yesterday, there's not much you could have asked me for that I would not have
Given to have her back.
or done to have her back. Like, I hope nobody listening to this gets any ideas, because I'm telling you, I would have handed over my bank account. I would I even my brother and sister-in-law I'm out riding around, and so my sister-in-law is kind of like managing comments on Facebook and things of what's going on, and I was like, she's been gone like an hour to my knowledge. She's been gone a lot longer than that, but I've only known about it for about an hour, and I'm like, put a reward out, I'll put a reward for X amount of money for, her return or whatever. My brother's like, are you crazy? He was like, she's only been gone. He's like, you need to give it. I'm like, are you crazy? I'm like, that's my family. That's, I'll just say, I had told him, I'm like, do a $200 reward. And he was like, are you crazy? I'm like, I would give 1,000. I'm like, you don't understand.
Right.
Like, possessions are possessions. Money is money. But people, those you love, your family, and that is God's heart is people. I tell my children, I'm like, God is in the business of people.
Mm-hmm.
Loving people, bringing people back home, saving people. But and one of the things that I told Mimi that I wanted to touch on and tie in with this message on the heart of the Father is the fact that, especially, and I'm talking to believers right now, we are truly, when the Bible says that we are his hands and feet in the earth, that is not lip service.
Mm-hmm.
That is not something that you can look at and just brush aside, because everything, we are in stewardship of the earth.
Yeah.
God is in ownership, and we are the stewards. We are the ones with authority backed by heaven in the earth. But anything that's going to get done, that lost sheep that needs to come home, guess who God is sending?
Yeah.
He is sending us. He is sending us. We are the light in the darkness. We are the city that shines on a hill. It is us. And if we refuse to shine, if we refuse to be the hands and feet, who is bringing home the sheep?
Exactly. Yep.
Who's running to meet the sun? That is why Jesus had to come in the form of a man in order to redeem us, because in the earth, it takes a man. God created the earth, then he created man, and then he gave man authority in the earth. And I think back over the times in my life when God has used other people to be the hands and feet in my life, and where I would be if the people, when God knocks on your heart and says, hey, pray for this person, go see this person, bless this person, help this person financially. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
That is our Father wanting to work through us to love on one of his children.
Yeah. What an honor.
Yes. Yes. To love on one of his children, or to, again, bring in the lost sheep. And y'all, again, I understand that there are some of you that probably think I've lost my mind right now if you don't have an affinity for animals. But do you have children? Do you have a sister or a brother or a best friend? Like, imagine that person being lost, missing, hurting somewhere. What you wouldn't do to help them, to bring them back. And if you have multiple, like, again, like I spoke about yesterday, it came down to Sasha was the last one. She was the only one missing. All of my children were accounted for, healthy and safe. All of my other pets were accounted for, safe and healthy. But I could not think about anything
but the one.
The one that was gone, getting her back. And if you have multiple children, if you've ever, lost one of your children for a minute, just think about the sheer panic and distress, and that's all you can focus on. And, each one of these scriptures here, the parable of the lost sheep. It says, then Jesus told this parable, suppose one of you has 100 sheep and loses one of them. Doesn't he leave the 99 in the open country and go after the lost sheep until he finds it?
He doesn't just go looking, he finds it.
Yes. And he doesn't stop
Until he finds
until he finds it. It says, doesn't he leave the 99 in the open country and go after the lost sheep until he finds it? And when he finds it, he joyfully puts it on his shoulders and goes home. And goes even a step further. It says, then he calls his friends and neighbors together and says, rejoice with me. I have found my
Amen.
lost sheep.
Amen.
I was calling everybody I knew yesterday. Oh no, there she's home. Y'all, I was a wreck. I had to cancel plans. Now, my brother was supposed to come over yesterday, and I'm like, it like done a number on me. And I had an instance like that one time before. Y'all, so I have sympathy for people when this kind of stuff happens. But I was pregnant with my youngest. So the youngest at the time was 5 or 6. And I had drove to town, picked all of the kids up from school. It was kind of on the later side when we got home. I'm like 8 months pregnant, like trying to get into the house to go pee before I peed myself. And a little while later, I was like, where's Rylan? And y'all, like, he's 5 or 6, but he's my baby. Like, he's been the baby for like 5 years now. And like, the instant panic set in instantly because I thought he had come in and I can't find him. And I'm thinking, oh my God, he went out to play or something and somebody has snatched him. 8 months pregnant, and I am running again, like just sheer panic. Y'all, he was still asleep in the back seat. And thank God that like it was not the heat of the summer and it was not the middle of the day and all of these things. And so I'm just gonna say, y'all, when those tragedies happen, it is exactly that. It is a tragedy. When those things happen, those people will never get over that. They'll never be the same. And then it's horrible for all involved. But it happened to me, just by the mercy of God. Again, that it was not the middle of the summer and it wasn't hot and all of those things. But I just wanted to point out, like, again, that you become consumed by the one that's lost, the one that's lost. And even I am guilty of this. Like, I'm sitting here talking to y'all about this because I know even in myself, there are times that I am consumed with me and what's happening in my world and with my family and my little circle and all of these things. Meanwhile, how many lost children is on the Father's heart day after day, minute after minute. And y'all, obviously, we have to live our lives, and God knows that, and God understands that. But the purposes and things that Mimi and I talk about so much that God has for us, God is in the people business. Yeah. The purposes that he has for us, for you, for everyone, always involve bringing in the lost sheep. And that doesn't always look like someone called to pastor or be a preacher or even, someone called to be a missionary. That you never know how much a simple act of kindness that God is asking you to do, how much that is going to affect someone and impact their future and impact whether or not they come to know Christ.
Yeah.
You know, I think about um our house here that we're getting ready to sell has a 1-1 apartment attached to it. Um and when we initially bought the house, I thought that it was going to be for my mom.
Mm-hmm.
She was a widow. I was imagining, her coming to live with us and us being able to take care of her and things. And she was not ready to break up housekeeping yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she's still very independent.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, okay, well, we'll rent it, right? We'll rent the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
We had taken on a much larger mortgage than what we were used to having and things. And I was like, that little bit of extra income and stuff will be a security, a backup, Um, and my husband and I were down there getting the place ready because we wanted to set it up to where we could put like a washer and dryer in it. So he's like running the line and the plumbing for it and all of these different things. And the Lord totally wrecks me one day on the way home from work. And he was like, "You're not going to rent that apartment. You're going to use it to bless people." And I mean, y'all, when I say he wrecked me, he wrecked me. So I come home and my husband's down there working and I go sit on the couch and he's like elbow deep, y'all. And I'm like, "I have some news, babe." I'm like, I told him, I said, "The Lord, has really dealt with me." And he said that we're going to use this place to bless people. And I didn't know exactly what that meant. Like, I didn't know if it was going to be like maybe a retreat for burnout pastors or something, they need to come with their wife and get away for a few days or something. Cause we're not fancy, but we do have a nice deck and pool in the backyard and those things, before we blessed people. My husband and I blessed ourselves to a couple of getaways to the apartment, and we would just go down there for the evening and
Right.
spend the night and swim and
Yeah.
tell the kids, "Don't call unless you're dying." you know, and it was so peaceful, so nice, So I was like, I just didn't know what it was supposed to look like. I just knew God had told me that we were going to bless people with it. And so it ended up sitting for a few weeks while, we finished the work and we were, praying about it like, "Okay, God, like, what is this supposed to look like? What, is going to be the situation?" Well, a couple of friends of ours that we went to church with um, ended up posting on Facebook one day about a father and son that they had found walking down the road and were trying to get help for them to have a place to stay, etc. And I had saw the post and it had kind of caught my eye. And then my husband had seen it too. And he sent it to me and he was like, "Hey, why don't you reach out and see, what the situation is?" So I called the wife, I called our friend, and y'all, we were not 5 minutes into this conversation. And she's telling me what happened. And she had been driving down the road and she saw a little boy standing on the sidewalk holding a backpack and traffic backed up. She's like, "I'm looking at this little boy," and I'm like, "What is happening here?" And he's kind of looking back to the traffic, and she looks and sees his father trying to get across the road, almost getting hit. And like, she's describing this to me, and it was like she painted a like God painted a picture in my mind, and I can see it all playing out, and I'm like bawling, and I knew instantly that we were supposed to help them. Y'all, this little boy was like, he was 7 or 8 at the time. We live in Florida. They had walked from North Carolina to Florida, been turned away from churches. Now, turned away from churches, y'all. Do better. Please do better.
Yeah.
And we went and got them. Actually, our friends brought them here to the house. Y'all, we did not know this man from a hill of beans. Knew nothing about him at all. But I knew what God said. And we brought them in, set them up in the apartment, did not charge them anything. We helped to clothe them, feed them. They were with us for a year. We got the dad about 6 months in, we were able to help him get a job, secure a job, and get on his feet. He started paying a little bit of rent to, get into the feel and the groove of things. And to this day, that was 3 years ago now. To this day, the little boy right now is downstairs playing with my youngest son.
Mm-hmm.
They are with us every Thanksgiving and Christmas and birthdays. And y'all, the day that they moved out, all I could do was cry and thank God that He allowed us to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Y'all, we get to be
Absolutely.
the hands and feet. We don't have to, we get to be the hands and feet.
Yeah.
And it's an honor.
Absolutely.
And you never, I know that I will probably never fully know the difference
Oh, yes.
that we made and continue to make in their lives. And not at all. I want y'all to know, like, every bit of that is God. Every bit of it is the Holy Spirit. But I would have rented that place. I would have rented it, baked the money. That was God. But I had to be willing. I had to be willing. And that is the heart of the Father.
Yeah.
And y'all, when they say it's better to give than to receive,
Oh, absolutely.
it truly is.
Yeah, it really is.
It truly is. And so I just, it seems to be that every week I'm like, Lord, what are we going to record this week? What are we supposed to be talking about this week? And I'm telling y'all, He leaves me hanging. He leaves us hanging until like the day before. But, how is it that I lose my baby? And while I'm searching high and low for my baby, God's talking to me about the lost sheep. And then you end up listening to
a sermon on the prodigal son.
Yes. Yes. Y'all, I love the Lord. I love to see when He's tweaking stuff behind the scenes.
Oh, I know. I just
and
say sometimes, Lord, you're just so smart.
yeah.
I would have never thought of that.
No, so much smarter than we are, for
Yes,
sure.
and it's just
For sure.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm still, like I keep saying, I'm just in awe of the Lord and what He does in our life and how He uses us. and how he's using us more and more every day to reach people. It is just,
Yeah.
it's more than I could have ever asked for. When I was asking him, Lord, what do you want us to do? I had no idea
That it would be this,
that
it
it
would
would
be,
be.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he used you in my life not that long ago. Y'all, when we were trying to get this retreat together, I was feeling so overwhelmed trying to get everything set up online into the computer so that people could actually register. When I tell you I was overwhelmed, I was so, so overwhelmed. I wanted to cry. I wanted to just put my head down on this desk and cry and give up because it was a huge learning curve for me. I mean, I've been a lot of things, none of them requiring much computer knowledge and work. And so it was so difficult. And I'd had such a bad day. And then you come walking in with my bag that I love so much and tell me what you said the Lord, you was telling your husband about it.
Well, I first, when we got there, I was looking at it for me and I was like, oh, I love that bag. I really just, I want that bag so bad. And he was like, well, get it, get it. I was like, I don't really want to spend that much money right now. I feel guilty spending that much money on myself. He's like, well, if you want it, you can get it. I said, no, I'll just wait. So I'm walking around and I'm looking at all the other pretty stuff and smelling everything.
Mhm.
And I just keep looking back at that bag. I'm like, oh, that bag. And then the Lord told me, like, when I got up to pay for my stuff, my husband's like, I'm gonna go get that bag for you. And I was like, no, he said, yes, I'm gonna go get it. So he walked back and got one and brought it up to pay for. And I paid for it, but the Lord would not let me walk away from there without knowing, one, either that bag was going to you,
Mhm.
or two, I was going to sacrifice and I was going to buy one for you. And so I told my husband, I was like, I want this bag, but I'm going to have to give it to her. Like, the Lord has just told me that she needs this bag. And so he was like, well, I guess we're buying two then. So he went back and got a second one. And I just, I can't explain it necessarily. I knew, like, when you walk with God,
Mm.
you start to recognize
Mhm.
his voice clearer and clearer. And I just knew when I was standing up there paying for that just as clear as I'm talking right now, the Lord told me you needed that bag. And so I got that bag, and then I couldn't wait to get here to give it to you, just because I thought it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I knew you was gonna like it, but
Yeah.
I had no idea that you was having such a rough day that day because I hadn't talked to you and you hadn't told me. But when I came in and gave you that bag, you started crying, and that wrecked me. And I was like, see there, I told you that
Yep.
bag was for her.
And y'all, when makes me want to cry again, but those moments. So look at this whole picture. Like, in that moment when she brought me that bag, and especially when you said, the Lord told me to get this, that those moments are God revealing his heart,
Absolutely.
his love for you.
Yep.
And then you got the joy and pleasure of seeing how much
Absolutely.
it helped me.
Absolutely.
The way that I got the joy and pleasure of seeing how much we have helped that man and his son.
Yeah.
And we know there is God in the background.
Absolutely.
And as a parent, how much we love to love on our children
Mhm.
and just thinking about what it does for his heart
Absolutely.
when we participate. But it all took our participation.
Yeah.
I would have never had that bag if you hadn't listened to the Lord.
Mhm.
My youngest son would not have one of his best friends in the whole world
Absolutely.
right now that he's out there playing with
Absolutely.
if I had not listened to the Lord.
Yeah.
That family would not have the stability that they had and somewhere to go on the holidays and be with. And if I had not listened and been obedient.
It's very important from
Yeah.
what looks like the smallest things to the biggest things. When God tells us to do something, it's for a reason and we
Yeah.
need to act on it.
Yeah. To you, it was a bag. To me, it was my father saw how hard I had been working all day for him in doing what I knew that he wanted me to do and to get to a place that where we could love on and bless these women that he loves, that are his children, that he's wanting to do something for. And
He was just as concerned about you in that
yes,
day as you were all the women that we were preparing
yes,
for.
yes.
Hmm.
And he's amazing.
And it was, like you said, it was absolutely amazing for me to see what an impact it had on you. Like, to me, that honestly, that was better than me getting a bag for myself.
Yeah.
The fact that it touched you in such a way and that my obedience to God impacted you in that way, it was
Yeah.
such a blessing.
So y'all,
Yeah.
that I hope that most importantly, you have seen God's heart
Yes.
in this episode. And that if you had any doubt whatsoever of his love for you, for all of us,
Yeah.
that maybe this helped you out some. But do you have anything else that you'd like to share? Or
No, I do want to remind all of our listeners that we are preparing for our first women's retreat.
yes,
We have been much in prayer and preparation, as you can see behind us, making shirts and all the things. And even though this one is full, the Lord has literally told both of us, like, this is just the beginning.
yeah,
So there will be other retreats. So we just want to remind y'all. You can go to our Royal by Design group on Facebook. Um, Ladies, join it. Follow
yes,
along with us. That's where most of our content on the women's retreats and such will be put out. So we would love to have anyone at all. You could be a mom, a single woman, married, divorced, not married. It doesn't matter.
yeah,
We have been given a task by God to reach other women, to love on
yes,
other women, and to show true love of Jesus to other women. So if you in any way feel like this may be something that you are interested in, please go to Facebook, join our group, Royal by Design.
yes.
And I just know God's going to do amazing things.
Oh, I know it. Because he's amazing. How can
Absolutely.
he help but to do amazing things?
Absolutely.
We love y'all. We love y'all.
Yeah.
Remember that you can reach us on Substack here, Just Sam Podcast. We have a website. If you have any questions, we'd love to hear from y'all. We hope that you have a fantastic rest of your week.
Yeah.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.